the sound of snapping steel, the sickening thud of a body hitting the concrete, the sight of a champion, a warrior who has conquered the world reduced to a state of pure, helpless agony. What we witnessed tonight wasn't just a wrestling segment. It wasn't just a beatdown. It was a public execution of a legacy. This is the night the world of professional wrestling changed forever. This is the night the shadows finally swallowed the light, and by the end of this video, you are going to understand why nothing in the WWE will ever be the same again. Welcome to SLAMZONE. Before we dive into the wreckage of tonight's main event, I want to take a second to speak to you all from the heart. We've built this community, this family, over hundreds of hours of shared passion for this business. If you love the sport as much as I do, if you feel every strike and every heartbeat of these stories, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Join our family. Share this video with someone who feels the same way, leave a comment with your thoughts, and ring that notification bell. Your support is the lifeblood of SLAMZONE, and it means the world to have you here with us in the foxhole. The air in the arena was thick, heavy with the kind of static electricity you only feel before a storm. Rhea Ripley and IYO Sky, two of the most dominant, feared, and respected women to ever step through those ropes. They stood in the center of the squared circle, eyes locked, breathing in the shared respect of two titans. The crowd was deafening, a sea of people sensing that they were about to witness a once-in-a-lifetime confrontation. You could feel the energy vibrating through the floorboards. This is where legends are made. This is why we watch. But then, the lights didn't just flicker. They died. A cold, oppressive darkness washed over the arena, silencing 20,000 people in a heartbeat. And then, that familiar, haunting rhythm began. The Judgment Day. They didn't come out with their usual bravado. There were no smiles, no theatrical poses. They emerged from the smoke like predators moving through high grass. Finn Balor, J.D. McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, they looked different tonight. Cold, calculated. As they surrounded the ring, Rhea Ripley didn't flinch. She stood her ground, the mommy of the WWE, the woman who for so long was the heartbeat of that very group. Beside her, IYO Sky, the genius of the sky, crouched low, ready to fly, ready to fight. The first strike was a blur. A chaotic explosion of violence. Rhea lunged at Finn, but the numbers game, the eternal curse of the hero, immediately took its toll. You could hear the impact of the boots against the mat. The desperation in the crowd's screams. IYO Sky took to the air, a beautiful, tragic arc of a moonsault to the outside, taking out JD, but Dominic, that snake, that man the fans love to hate, caught her with a mid-air dropkick that sent her crashing into the barricade with a sound that made everyone in the front row wince. Back in the ring, Rhea was a caged lion. She was fighting off two men, throwing headbutts that sounded like gunshots, but the fatigue was setting in. You could see the sweat glistening under the emergency red lights. Every time she gained an inch, the Judgment Day took a yard. This wasn't a match. This was a dismantling. The storytelling in their eyes, the betrayal in Rhea's, and the cold, corporate malice in Finn's, it was Shakespearean. The crowd was begging for a savior. Rhea! 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 The chant shook the rafters, but there was no one coming. The locker room was locked. The trap was set. We watched in horror as Finn Balor grabbed a steel chair. The silence that fell over the building was more painful than the noise. You could hear Rhea's heavy breathing. She looked at Finn, not with fear, but with a heartbreaking disappointment. She built this house, and now they were using the bricks to bury her. What a moment. A moment of pure, unadulterated tension. Finn raised the chair, but instead of the strike, he stopped. He leaned down and whispered something in Rhea's ear. The cameras couldn't catch it, but we saw Rhea's face go pale. What could he have said to break the toughest woman in the industry? Before we find out what happened next, and before we get to that shocking twist that no one saw coming, I have to remind you, hit that like button, subscribe to SLAMZONE, and join the family for more intense wrestling breakdowns every week. Your engagement helps us keep the lights on and the passion flowing. We are a family here, and we want you with us every step of the way. The violence escalated to a level we rarely see on Monday nights. IYO Sky, showing the heart of a warrior, crawled back into the ring on one or two good limbs, trying to shield Rhea. It was a display of sisterhood that transcended the scripted nature of the sport. But the Judgment Day had no mercy. They used the environment as a weapon. The ring post, the steps, the announce table, nothing was off limits. Every near save felt like a glimmer of hope that was immediately snuffed out. You could feel the collective heartbreak of the audience. There's a specific kind of sorrow in watching a hero fall, and tonight, we watched two of them get dismantled piece by piece. The reversals were sharp, the strikes were stiff, and the emotion was raw. Rhea Ripley, with blood trickling from the corner of her mouth, tried for one last riptide on Dominic, but her strength gave out. The look of realization on her face that she couldn't protect herself or IYO was the most brutal part of the entire night. And then, the moment that will be replayed for decades. Just as Finn Balor prepared for the final coup de grace, the music didn't hit. No hero ran down the ramp. Instead, the big screen flickered to life. It showed the backstage area, a scene of total carnage. The entire security team, the referees, even the general manager all laid out. And standing over them was a figure we haven't seen in months. A figure that changed the entire context of the attack. The distraction worked. In the ring, Rhea and IYO were left motionless. The Judgment Day stood tall, but they weren't celebrating. They were looking at the screen with a mixture of reverence and terror. The twist wasn't that Rhea and IYO were beaten. The twist was who the Judgment Day was actually working for. The master puppeteer was revealed, and it's someone who has a history with Rhea that goes back to her very first day in this company. The pacing of this segment was a masterpiece of suspense. It kept us guessing. Was it a betrayal? Was it a takeover? As the show went off the air, the image of the Judgment Day standing over the fallen bodies of Rhea, Ripley and IYO Sky, while the mysterious figure smiled on the screen, left a pit in the stomach of every wrestling fan alive. Tonight was a reminder of why we love this. It's the drama, the physicality, the "did you see that" moments that keep us coming back. It's the emotional backstories that make every punch feel like a personal insult. We saw the end of an era tonight, and the beginning of something much darker. Ladies and gentlemen, we are entering a new age of chaos. The landscape of the WWE has been scorched. Rhea Ripley is down. IYO Sky is broken. And the Judgment Day has never been more powerful or more terrifying. What happens next? How do you even begin to recover from a night like this? I want to hear from you. How did you feel watching that beatdown? Who do you think was on that screen? Is Rhea Ripley's reign truly over, or is this just the fuel she needs for the greatest comeback in history? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thank you for spending this time with me at SLAMZONE. It's a privilege to break these moments down with you. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join our growing family. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown of the most intense moments in the world of wrestling. We'll be here every week, through the triumphs and the tragedies. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ring and your heart in the game. This is SLAMZONE, signing off.